Hello everyone and welcome to the pitskill.io Porsche Cup sponsored by SimQuips. I'm your host Roy Waller and tonight we are in the state of New York at Watkins Glen for a very rainy penultimate round of this series. And we have just a bit of time as the drivers get themselves up to pace and get themselves used to these conditions. We'll have a look at our drivers' standings. We would if I'd had that loaded to the right thing. Let's have a look. As we have got Matthew Parry leading the way on 553 points, with Reese Tattersall and Balazs Fahey in second and third. And then quite close behind together is John Sawyer and Nathan Smith-Adams, Busso and Robert Weidbeck, sorry. With Tadeusz Szynski behind on 301 points. So plenty close together in the midfield, and with 2 drop rounds still to be calculated, the whole championship really still up for grabs at the moment. As we turn our attention to this qualifying session, and as Reese Tattersall rounds the final sector, looking to find a bit more pace at the moment, as we follow him around the final couple of corners. That's all with quite a bit of pace in hand over his previous lap, but is not going to be enough to challenge the return of Sergi Sebastian, running that pit crew liveried cup car. Actually running the old... actually, wait, no, that is the new car, isn't it? My eyes did deceive me for a moment there, and I thought Sergi was running the old 991. And is anyone actually mad enough to be running that car tonight? Oh, is it changed to 3 drop rounds now? Is that to take into account the mandatory drop round, which was Spa? As we did not have results calculated for that one, unfortunately. Set this to auto camp as we look at Johan Leff, the P3 driver, currently looking to try and jump over Reese Tattersall. Sergi Sebastian looking a little out of reach. Some of these drivers now. So series info, 3 drop rounds. There we go. So, okay, we've already had 1 drop round calculated, which would have been, well, Spa for everyone so far. So, in reality, 2 drop rounds, and as we come into the penultimate round, this is where things will start to shuffle about. As Johan improving through the second sector, going into the boot section. Nathan Smith-Adams emerging onto that long back straight. And the chicane, which going to be interesting to see how treacherous that chicane is in the race in these conditions. We had a reasonably clean lap 1 last round out at Donington Park. I fear the same may not be able to be said about this race here at Watkins Glen, but maybe the drivers will pleasantly surprise us. Yeah, I'm not sure why the game decides to put the dry line all the way out away from the curbs in that chicane, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone drive over the actual middle of the track surface regardless of the weather conditions. So interesting choice from the developers there. As we check in with the times, just to review the times at the top, again, it is still Sergi Sebastian on a 1:51.460 who heads the times, with Rhys Tattersall behind on a 1:51.9. Those are the only two drivers into the 51s at this point, with a Johan Leff on a 1:52.0. But as Balazs Feher comes to cross the line, and with a 1:52.3 joins that 1:52 club, which is getting more and more populated as this session goes on. As we have Busso looking to improve, but actually quite considerably down on this lap. It's Rhys Tattersall who's currently green at the moment, ascending the hill in the slipstream. Will he be given an easy job by the car ahead? Doesn't look like it. And well, follows the car in front of him out onto a wide line, and Rhys Tattersall losing what he gained from that lap. But as long as that car in front of him was on a valid flying lap, absolutely nothing wrong done there. Just wrong place at the wrong time there for Rhys Tattersall, who pulls off the racing surface. As well, there's a real gaggle of cars vying for position at the end of the lap as Tadej gets on the blinkers. You're getting as the car of Matthew Peltzer out of his way. Next up down the road will be Marco Lorenzo, as Suzuki crosses the line eventually for a 1:53.267. Still some 1.8 seconds off of our provisional pole sitter, Sergi Sebastian, who is returning to the Porsche Cup with some style. The class of the field right now. As Johan Leff sets out about trying to unseat Rhys Tattersall on the front row. With just over 3 minutes remaining in this session. Just a couple of laps left for each of these drivers. There's so little grip out there. You can see the car just washing itself wide. Not much in terms of a slide from the rear, more of a full four-wheel drift around the corner as it just kicks up and skims a lot across the track. Left with just a few corners remaining on this lap. Just about keeping it within track limits. Finding plenty of pace out there is Leff. It's not going to be enough to challenge Sergi, I don't imagine, unless he's got some absolute magic to find in the final two corners. Just keep it within track limits, and this should be enough to take P2 away from Rhys Tattersall. And wow, I think the commentator's curse coming strong there as Johan Leff crosses the line, somehow absolutely matching his previous best with that slide. So much in hand, and now has potentially 2 laps to, this one's a push lap, to try and rematch that glory. Would have been a fast lap from Leff without that final corner slide. And, well, Leff doing very, very well to keep that one out of the wall and at least saving himself one more run at aiming for the top row, but looking like he's lost a whole heap of time on this lap. We'll have to just keep pushing to make it onto a final flying lap. As our series sponsor crosses the line, Chris SimQuips writes, the 1:53.1. Just 1/10 to find to get himself into that elusive 1:52 club. will be required, I think, for any driver hoping to get into the top 10 as this session draws to a close. Matthias Peltzer, after letting Szynski through just earlier, is slowly gaining on the Rexy liveried car ahead of him and finding a whole heap of pace on this lap, though him and Felix Kotick behind with pace to find. As we'll check in with Kotick first, with just 2 corners to go, some 8/10ths up on his previous best, and wow, jeez, okay, I should just stop talking. This commentator's curse is really getting effective. Let's see if we can unleash some carnage onto Matthias Peltzer with just 2 corners to go. Let's hope that he can keep it together out onto the curbing. Slippy out there, but keeps control of the car. Washing wide on the final corner. Keeps it together though, and outlives the commentator's curse. I guess someone had to, as he crosses the line. Moves himself up into P7 with a 1:52.5. As Rhys Tattersall, is he feeling the pressure of the push from Johan Leff? One final flyer to try and go the pole position, possibly. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough, but getting almost within a 10th of Sergi Sebastian. It is a solid lap from Rhys Tattersall in the end. As the close battle in the top 10. All those drivers in the 152s. Busso would love to find a little bit of extra pace and move himself up the leaderboard. He rounds the final corner. Will benefit from a slight slipstream on the car ahead. In the end, finds but a thousandth of a second. And it looks like Robert Weidbeck coming sideways through the final corner, way out on the curbing there, does well to keep control of the car and comes across the line, moving up into P7. And I think the final improving car will be Svoboda. Across the line, improves up to P16. And I think that will be our grid for tonight's race. So, with qualifying drawing to a close, just a few final runners left to finish their lap. No one improving though. It will be Sergi Sebastian who will start this race from pole position with Rhys Tattersall alongside him. Then have Johan Leff and Balázs Feher on the second row of the grid. And our championship leader, Matthew Parry, down in 5th position, is going to have to work his way forward if he wants to hold on to that championship lead, especially with those drop rounds coming into contention. Rhys Tattersall's abandonment of the Barcelona race not going to affect him too badly if he can just finish these last couple of rounds well. In P6, we've got Nathan Smith-Adams. And as our cars line up on the grid, getting themselves set up for this race tonight, you can see, starting from the front of the grid, that is Sergi Sebastian in the orange and black pit crew. God, need to remember all the names this community has gone through. The pit crew livery there, with Rhys Tattersall in a confusingly non-liveried car. I'm not sure if that is out of choice or just a technical issue there. We've seen Rhys running without a livery for a number of rounds now. Then in P3, we have got the onion-coloured car of Johan Leff with the fake Subaru of Balázs Feher. The familiar sort of semi-martini colours there of Matthew Parry in P5, with the pink car for Smith-Adams in P6. The green and red of Weidbeck, And then the blue and red of Peltzer is Petrovsky behind in the red and black, with Busso in his also familiar green, white and red. And then in P11 we have got John Sawyer. And there's our drivers put away on the formation lap, with the field being led away by Sergi Sebastian on his return to the Porsche Cup. Series sponsor Chris Wright. Running P12 with Tadeusz Szynski alongside him. Rook and Shoot running the pink Rexy. Seeming the dinosaurs do come in pairs here at Watkins Glen, with the black and green, also the black and yellow of Kotick behind. Svoboda in the lime green, with Kenny Crows in the black and green liveried car, not to be confused with Kotick's black and yellow. The familiar purple of Michalak is currently down in P18, with Patrick van der Kraan in the yellow Rexy. Whole field of dinosaurs out there. Laurent de Moore, they're running black and red livery. And is this a drunk racing car? Not quite read what it says there. You're behind someone who, oh god, I can't. Yeah, no, I no chance of me reading that writing on the yellow car. The heights, pick a different colour, because white is impossible to read on that. Logigan in the child's toy livery, that blue, yellow and red. And then we've got Stamalier in the number 23. Nitro in his Linux liveried car, with Lorenzon there in the brown, cream and black, we're so familiar with seeing. Klinger and Windy in the default Porsche Cup liveries, winding their way down, with the very familiar livery of Steve Goosens coming up the hill there. Police chasing the pack down. King running that red and black car, with Opton Dries running, I believe that's the blue and yellow car there in our picture, with Harold Keckelmeyer running the goated livery there. I'm sure we'll catch up with that livery later on in the race. Apologies to if I do butcher this name, but Sijak running the brown Rexy. So many dinosaurs out there tonight. And finally we've got Holterock in the black and blue, as the green flag waves, and we are racing here at Watkins Glen. Sergi Sebastian with a good start alongside Rhys Tattersall. They head into turn one, but Sergi with a great run on a big old slide there has allowed Rhys Tattersall, Johan Leff, Balazs Fay here to find their way through, and Sergi's going to be absolutely compromised all the way down this long back straight. It is a nightmare start. We've got yellow flags out for Robert Weidbeck, who's back on the racing circuit, so nothing too bad there, as De Eitz falling back with heavy damage to the front of their car. Chaos up and down the field, but Rhys Tattersall getting away well at the start as Matthias Peltzer jumps over the chicane. Kenny Crows dodging the chicane, as they all seem to be coming through reasonably sensibly. Drivers who weren't so comfortable getting out of the way, using that runoff. It's what it's there for, everyone. So if you find yourself in a bit of trouble, for all of you Monza Open lobbyers, the runoff is certainly your friend. As Rhys Tattersall starting to pull a phenomenal lead there, as Sergi Sebastian's recovered well up into P3. I mean, lost out a number of positions at the start. I was wondering if he's going to drop back even further. We know he's got quite a lot of pace under him, so he should be able to start to push forward. Now, Johan Leff up into P2, and Rhys Tattersall moving away at the front. Behind them, fake Subaru of Balazs Fehi. I mean, in these conditions, maybe he would have been better off with a real Subaru, but they have to make do with the Porsche Cup car. And he has got championship leader Matthew Parry all over his rear end for company, and with a bit of a slide coming through turn one, Matthew Parry's going to try and have a run down here. They come sweeping through the S's. Parry's just going to want to sit in that slipstream of the Subaru. As he looks to the outside, looks to the inside. Will there be enough of an overlap as they come into the chicane? Matthew Parry backing out for now. But Balazs Fehi has managed to hold on to the pressure that was given to him. Hanging on to P4 for now, as the number 2 and number 3 cars have been able to catch up to Rhys Tattersall. That lead now standing at 0.8 seconds. As the track conditions are damp here, so not full on wet by any means. As pointed out in chat, the Balazs Fehi train has re-emerged here, as I think he may be just about to be taken over as the lead engine in this train. Balazs Fehi tries to hold on around the hairpin, will have the inside line, or the fast left-hander. Will he try and hold it on around the inside? Puts the power down as Matthew Parry uses all of that exit curve. Brave from there from Parry, who's managed to move himself up into P4, as Nathan Smith-Adams now looking up the inside of Balazs Fehi. Will he be able to be bolder on the brakes, as Balazs is going to have to be careful of the car in front of him? But no, Smith-Adams backing out as Parry and Fehi come through turn one, nose to tail. As up at the front, Johan Leff at this point in the race is the one showing the pace. Currently 0.3 seconds back from Rhys Tattersall. And managing to apply some pressure to our driver in P2 in the championship, breaking away from Sergi Sebastian behind. As they start to descend the hill. Our closest battle on track here is over P4, as Balazs Fehi is managing to hold on to Matthew Parry after losing that position on the previous lap. And he is being followed by the likes of Smith-Adams, Busso, Weidbeck, Peltzer, Szyszynski and Petrovsky. Even Sawyer and Wright are forming onto the back of this train now, with Kotick not too far behind either. This is a 10-car train. And I've got to hope the platform here at Watkins Glen is long enough for them. As Matthew Parry can still see the lead 3 in this race for now, beginning to pull a little bit of a gap to Balazs Fehi here behind, almost at a second now. And Matthew Parry not under so much pressure now, as Balazs Fehi leads Nathan Smith-Adams through the first corner. A corner that's so easy to get wrong here, especially in these slippery conditions. That exit curbing not offering much grip up in the best of times, as looks like Matthias Peltzer coming around the outside of Tadeusz Szynski will have the inside line as they emerge out onto the back straight. Szynski now looking to the inside for the chicane, not far enough alongside. Peltzer gets the lead through the corner. Matthias Peltzer leads Szynski and Petrovski as they come through. Down into what really should be called Ankle Corner, but actually doesn't have a name. Matthew Parry not able to break away that much from Balázs Fejhit. Gap still sitting at 0.9 seconds. So Balázs Fejhit comfortably keeping with this pace. It is Matthias Peltzer who seems to be dropping back from this battle for P4. As we can see, this whole group behind Matthias Peltzer battling hard as Tadeusz Szynski has got Petrovski looking all over his rear wing. And to check in with our battle up at the front of the field, Johan Leff still sticking with Rhys Tattersall, as it looks like Tattersall with a little bit of a twitch coming out of the first corner. Not enough to slow his run through the S's, and Johan Leff just going to have to sit in that slipstream and get towed along that long back straight. Don't think there's going to be an opportunity for Leff coming down to chicane this time around. The same might not be said for Busso, who's in the slipstream of Smith Adams. Is he going to have a look to the inside at the chicane? Both heavy on the brakes, leaving plenty of space between. Oh, actually, no, I take that back. Not leaving plenty of space between them, as they come side by side through the corner. Busso going for the inside. It looks like, oh, perhaps just about enough space left between them, but in these wet conditions, not enough control there to keep the cars apart. And around went Nathan Smith Adams, and Busso joining him off the circuit. As this group behind Robert Weibeck trying to get past the back marker of De Eitz. Blue flag waving. And De Eitz feeling he's got the pace to try and keep with these cars, but at the moment just interfering with this battle for P7, and does move out the way a bit awkwardly there on the apex of the hairpin, and getting swamped by cars left, right and centre as John Sawyer looking up the inside of, I believe that is Petrovski, but dropping back behind as they all try and filter their way past a couple of back markers. And it's back at the front of the field. Johan Leff still keeping with Rhys Tattersall as they again head through the S's. This battle super tight at the front, and Sergei Sebastian not showing the pace that he was having in qualifying, perhaps just preserving what he's got underneath him for now, as he's leaving Rhys Tattersall and Johan Leff to fight it out over the lead of this race. As we've got yellow flags out for Stamalier, who finds himself pointing off the racing surface. And what has happened here for Stamalier, as the car behind him tries to take avoiding action, and Stamalier almost going backwards into the pit lane. As he gets himself going again, can only imagine there's an amount of damage from hitting the pit wall. As Robert Weibeck, having both cleared the back marker last lap around, battle resuming from Weibeck and Peltzer. With Matthias Peltzer just a couple of tenths behind as they head up the hill towards Hill Corner. As our championship sponsor Chris Wright finds himself in the pit lane, Can't see anything on the incident tracker for car number 112, so not sure what has happened to him. So unfortunately, cannot fill in the Chris Wright SimQuips fan club with the juicy gossip. So you have to find that out from him after the race, unless we do catch it on the highlight reel that will be played after tonight's event. So do make sure you tune in for that if you're interested in finding out what happened to Chris Wright. But for now, Tadeusz Szynski has got Petrovsky caught up now right behind him under that rear wing. Petrovsky not close enough to look for a move at the moment as they come heavy on the brakes. And Petrovsky going heavily over the curbing. Plenty of confidence there for Petrovsky, using all of that apex curb. Plenty of grip there. As the complexion of the battle at the front of the field has changed. Johan Leff dropping back slightly from Rhys Tattersall, now being caught by Sergi Sebastian. As we'll take a look, see who has got the fastest lap of this race. It is Johan Leff with a 1:51.375. So Johan showing some good one lap pace, but not quite as consistent as Tattersall out in front. Consistently in the 1:51.6s. And Leff being caught slowly but surely by Sergi Sebastian. As Tadeusz Szynski leading up a train all of his own, with Petrovsky, Sawyer and Kotick catching him at quite a pace. Smith Adams, after the earlier incident with just can't remember who that was with now. Oh, with Busso, with resident bulldozer. Smith Adams got past Svoboda up into P13. Will be looking to try and move forward, as will Busso behind. As Robert Weidbeck also now with Matthias Peltzer for company, as Weidbeck running deep through the uphill hairpin of Toe Corner. This has allowed Peltzer to get close. Will we have a look into Hill Curb? Peltzer taking the early apex, will compromise him on the exit, but not close enough as they approach into the next corner. Weidbeck running slightly wide of the apex for a lot of these corners, but crucially not losing too much speeds then on the preceding straight, and just keeping ahead of Peltzer for now. As Busso is making his way past the Svoboda. This the move for P14 on track. As the stewards will, no doubt, I imagine, need to review that Smith Adams incident after the race. As it looks like Matthias Peltzer has made his way past Robert Weidbeck side by side as they came down towards the first corner. Peltzer on the inside manages to force Weidbeck into the compromise line, out onto that slippery outer curbing, and Matthias Peltzer up into P6. And now Tadeusz Szynski right in close behind Robert Weidbeck. This now for P7. As they make their way through, Nathan Smith-Adams gets the move done on and shoot. And through the loop on the inside and up in the end, and she made that one pretty easy for him. Yes. Matthias Peltzer leading this battle for P6, with Weidbeck, Szynski and Petrovsky not far behind, and just joining on to the back of this battle will be John Sawyer and Felix Kotick, as we create the second longest train we have seen in this race so far. This one only a measly 6 carriages, as Tadeusz Szynski tries to take the role of lead carriage in this battle. Oh no, a little bit of a snap there for Szynski, and that is going to leave him vulnerable to Petrovsky, who tries to take the charge long way around the outside. Szynski holding the inside line, manages to hold on to the position, and now Petrovsky under pressure himself from John Sawyer and Kenny Crows. This one could get interesting as we come down towards the braking zone for the bus stop chicane. Petrovsky manages to get through there first, followed by John Sawyer and Kenny Crows. Sorry, not Kenny Crows, Felix Kotick. I knew I was going to get those cars confused at one point, as I think we've got one mighty incident there. And what has happened amongst these cars, as Nitro finds himself out on the grass. So this all started as they're coming down towards turn 1, as Nitro getting himself sideways. Oh, not too bad there actually. Oh, there's actually a car in front of them. Oh, we did not see what car caused that one. I think that was I don't actually know who that was. That was the brown Rexy. Stopped on the racing line sideways, it looked like. Wow, that was absolutely brutal. And well, looks like this Rexy has got a second mouth. The dinosaur with a broken nose. And a slightly healthier dinosaur of Tadeusz Szynski, leading the battle for P7, as Peltzer has waltzed away into the distance after that slide from Szynski laps earlier, as chaos ensues behind, with Weidbeck and Sawyer going side by side. Kotick now joining in the battle in the slipstream of Sawyer ahead. Weidbeck losing out a handful of positions through that sequence of corners. Did not come out well from that one. Weidbeck looking to try and come back on the cars in front of him, but has lost too much ground to make anything happen there. Will have to drop back and settle for his new position of P11. And that's a painful one there for Robert Weidbeck, who'd been going strong just laps earlier, losing out to a number of cars in very few laps. I do want to check in. So what did happen with... It was the number 117 car. So let's see if we can get a replay of that. So he's trying to get going again. Slides it again. Oh, and that's what causes the incident. Oh, so apologies there too. Showing that painful moment again for the brown Rexy. But yeah, very clearly, car out of control, sliding back onto the racing line, and that was really only going to end one way. There's Petrovsky. He's dropped back a little bit from Szynski, as these drivers now taking real liberties with that exit curb there from the penultimate corner. I can't imagine we're too far away from seeing an incident because of that. That curb slippery at the best of times. And in a Porsche Cup car with no traction control in damp conditions, I think that's going to be very, very treacherous. Yes. Nathan Smith-Adams makes a mistake through the first turn and allows Busso GT through. Smith-Adams sideways all through that corner, leaves plenty of room out on the runoff, rejoins late, doing the safe thing there but by Smith-Adams, but losing the position to Busso. Drops down now into P13. There's Karol Piotrowski leading this battle for P8 with Sawyer and Kotick close together. This battle, the closest we have on track at the moment, with Balazs Feher slowly catching up onto the back of Matthew Parry. The battle for the lead of this race has died down slightly after a quite heated battle early on. Now, Rhys Tattersall, Johan Leff and Sergi Sebastian each separated respectively by 1.5 seconds, with just 7.5 minutes remaining of this race. But Karol Piotrowski's got John Sawyer, Felix Kotick, Robert Weidbeck, and now Busso the Bulldozer bearing down on them. Nathan Smith-Adams also catching up. This could become quite the battle in the midfield as Nathan Smith-Adams pushing with everything he's got, going right out to the wall on that final corner, giving it everything he's got out there. As they ascend up through the S's. So many gradient circuits, gradients at this Watkins Glen circuit. It's quite the test for the drivers, especially we descend a hill here through the loop, and then even trickier through the corner that I will call the ankle, as I think Zunski here now lapping Chris Wright. So the sponsor of this event, SimQuips Wright, not having an especially good day of it, currently running down in P29. I wonder if he did accidentally start on the slick tyres for this event. I can't imagine why he would be in the pit lane otherwise, as we didn't see an incident for him. As Busso's made his way up into P11, getting past Robert Weidbeck, recovering after that earlier incident between himself and Nathan Smith-Adams earlier. As I'm not sure if there's been an incident for Rhys Tattersall. Oh, no, there's not been an incident for Rhys Tattersall. There has been an incident for Johan Leff. As Leff was catching up to Tattersall, but getting it all wrong out on that exit curb. Yep, and that was one I was, well, waiting to see lower down in the field all race, but it happens to our P2 man, Johan Leff, and into that pit wall. And that is going to be hurting his straight line speed for the remaining 5 minutes of this race. And I think that has put paid to his battle with Rhys Tattersall. Tattersall will be having a little smile as he glanced that slide in his mirrors, knowing that the threat is over. As John Sawyer has got Felix Kotick all over the back of him. Oh, blooming hell. Well, that was an opportune moment to go to the wing cam. What happened there to Felix Kotick? Coming through the loop, I think just getting a bit too early on the throttle. The aero wash. Oh, I think the car just snapped on him, straightened up the wheel, and, well, He goes into the, I think, the most rigid water barrels I've ever seen. Oh, incident there for Marco Lorenzon coming through the chicane, doing a massive pirouette. Oh, into the wall, into a spin, into the wall, into a spin. At least he ended it facing in the right direction, I guess. But that one is not going to do your car much good at all. As whoa, Matthew Parry getting an almighty snap through the S's. That was, I was sure that was going to end in tears for Matthew Parry, but in the end holds on to it and, well, it's allowed Balazs Fahir through. But that was insane. Matthew Parry sideways through the S's at Watkins Glen, and somehow keeping it out of the wall. And I think to respond to Andy's comment there, I think you've seen me hit every single wall around this circuit in the F4s on iRacing, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see me hit that one as well. Seeming like with these damp conditions that yeah, the tyres might just be going away from these drivers. I wonder if it's just overheating there. Still damp track, so still going to be optimal, but I think that gives us our answer there as John Sawyer. Don't think he was going defensive there. I think just trying to get some water on those tyres. As I suspect some of these drivers thinking they were going to be running on wetter track than they are. As Busso looking for a way to get around John Sawyer. You see, does John Sawyer pull out on the racing line on this straight? No, so perhaps not trying to cool the tyres at this stage in the race, as I would have thought that would have been the optimal time to do so. So maybe John Sawyer was just going defensive out of the top of hill corner. But Busso now right up in the slipstream of John Sawyer. This has got to be the best opportunity that he's had. John Sawyer going very defensive on the run down towards the chicane. Busso's going to try and sweep around the outside. Doesn't have the space to do so, but will stick right in the slipstream. Nathan Smith-Adams also getting involved in this battle. It's a three-way fight over P9 as we enter into the final 30 seconds. As Rhys Tattersall should start another lap before the timer ticks down, so this will be the penultimate lap of the race. Because I don't think Rhys Tattersall will be slowing down to end this race early, not with Sergi Sebastian so close behind. Now, John Sawyer has got Harold Kakelmeyer up ahead. And Busso looking for the creative line through the corner, trying to stay on the dry part of the circuit. Will be forced out wide here by Sawyer as Kakelmeyer running out very wide there, compromised the exit of Busso. And John Sawyer would have been wishing that Rhys Tattersall could have ended this race early, as Busso gets his car alongside through the final corner. Would that be enough to compromise John Sawyer's run out the final corner? Don't think it's enough, as now Busso's got Nathan Smith-Adams up his inside as they head into the first corner. It's getting pretty scrappy here over P9 in this race as John Sawyer snaps. Busso runs out wide. This is a three-way battle as they come through the S's onto the back straight. John Sawyer at the moment holding on to that position, but have to ask at this point, how long can it last? As we have got Busso and Smith Adams right up behind him. As well, as soon as we go to the wing cam, we see another Oh, I shouldn't laugh, but it is funny. So it already started to go for Busso as he hops over the grass. And well, that was the incident that started and never stopped as Busso into the wall. And now John Sawyer with just Nathan Smith Adams with him. And apologies, we did miss the end of that race, but Rhys Tattersall takes the win, followed by Sergi Sebastian. As Johan Leff brings his damaged car home in P3. As Balazs here holds on ahead of Matthew Parry for P4. And P6 will be Matthias Peltzer. And Tadeusz Zazinski brings home the first of the Rexies. Karol Piotrowski maintains P8 with John Sawyer holding on in front of Nathan Smith Adams. P9. Robert Weidbeck finishing P11 with Anshu in P12. Busso manages to collect his car together and bring it home in P13. Grant de Moore P14 with Patrick van der Kraan, the third of our dinosaurs, in P15. Svoboda finishing 16th with Grzegorz Michalak bringing it home in P17. We then have quite the gap as Stamile and Windy continue to battle it out over P18. Stamile sideways through the penultimate corner. This battle will go down to the wire for the lower portions of the points, but it doesn't matter between these two. They will continue to fight. It's a long run down to the start-finish line as Windy tries to find a way through, but has to make do with P17. So P18 as Stamile comes home with P18. Goossens P19. Kenny Crow's P20. And the final of our lead lap finishers will be Op Dendries. And wow, that was a tense race to commentate on. A lot happening there. And again, big congratulations to our top three: Rhys Tattersall, Sergi Sebastian, and Johan Leff. And we will just have to wait a while we see what that has done to our championship standings. As with the drop round starting to come into play, I think things will close up at the top. Matthew Parry currently leading the way, but Rhys Tattersall has taken a number of wins here, a large number of wins here at the Porsche Cup Series. So have to expect that once that Barcelona round is eliminated for him, should see him jumping up the standings somewhat. And next week, the Porsche Cup will be heading to Kyalami. Unfortunately, will not be streamed on this channel, but we'll let you know if and where that will be streamed as soon as I know. But we will have on Wednesday, right here on this channel, the the Go Setups VIP trophy heading to Watkins Glen. That will be broadcast here, 7 p.m. GMT. And we'll see, can Manuel Benz take another win in that championship? And do make sure you head on over to pitskill.io and sign up using the referral code linked down below, as they're just announcing that there's going to be a monthly big grid races held at Suzuka Spa, and I forget the other circuit, but that's going to be multi-class, very large grids, up to 105, I believe it is, at Suzuka, with GT3s, GT4s, M2s and Cup cars. So plenty of choice of what to drive, and that can only be an exciting event to get involved in. And there's also the Christmas cracker races being arranged by chat's very own Andy Hudson. And there's going to be plenty of different races going on there. And as the results have come in for tonight's race, and I can confirm that leading the championship yet again is Reese Tattersall with 580 points, ahead of Matthew Parry on 553, with Balazs Fahir now taking third spot in the championship on 459 points. And now with one more round left to go in this championship and one more drop round to be calculated, still plenty of opportunity for things to change in this Porsche Cup championship, or series should I say. And well, until next time, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I have been your host, Roy Weller, and I'm going to leave you with the highlights from tonight's race. Have a very good night. Goodbye.